Hello, hello everyone. Hi, Kimberly. Good to see you. You're already dropping in. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're just going to let the algorithms carry things out. Ooh, I got the Zen chimes today. I'm outside. Yay. It's finally getting cool enough to be outside and not as buggy as it normally is. Although I say that as a cicada is making a little buzz. How's everyone? Teresa, hello. Yes, drop in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. I got a whole setup going on here today. We're outside enjoying nature as part of our theme today. A day in the soul. Yes, and I'm hearing all kinds of noises. You're probably going to hear noises. Natural, human, otherwise, children, who knows? Noises, noises, noises. If it gets too loud, like right now I'm hearing a woodpecker. Hopefully you could hear that. So cool. Cicadas. Here we go. I have sound. I have sound.
Hopefully you could hear
Whoa,
that.
whoa, whoa. We don't need that sound. There we go. Okay. We're rolling. We're rolling. Hello. Anshuman, hello. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see you here again. All right, we're gonna get these chimes going again and just enjoy the frequency, enjoy the waves. Breathe deeply, enjoying nature today. Yeah, just having this time to really connect with the soul and reset. So I called this a day in my soul. It's like a day in the life. I'm going to share a little bit, just to get us started, share a little bit about the different tools that I'm using and how I set up. You guys know if you've been here before, I always have my tea in one of my Star Wars mugs here. I'm a OG Star Wars fan, and so today's tea is called Rise and Shine tea here. All right. This one has bilberry leaf, ginkgo leaf, green tea. I think it's a jasmine, peppermint leaf, cloves, and ginger root. And it's caffeine free. That's what's wonderful about this tea. I got this at the bulk herb store online, and yeah, it has been something really helpful. Now, there's a couple different bulk herb stores. The one that I order from is connected to a woman named Shoshana. And so if you're looking it up or Googling it, maybe I'll have to put a link down below. But Rise and Shine tea, all organic. This is what I am drinking today. It's got that ginkgo in it, so it's gonna bring like the clarity. And it's got a little bit of that ginger in there, a little bit of fire in there to kind of wake up. Girl Gone's here. Hello, Girl Gone. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're back again. Yay! Love the beautiful trees. This one actually behind me directly. Well, so this one, the lighter green here behind me is a bald cypress tree, which my stepbrother's an arborist. He planted this here, and it loses its needles in the winter. So it's this really pretty green, and it's lush and it's soft. And then in the winter, everything will turn orange, all the needles, and then it's bald. That's why it's called bald cypress in the winter. It's one of the few evergreens that isn't evergreen, I guess you could say. And then back here, there's a maple. Maple is over here in my neighbor's yard on the other side. And it does the little helicopters. And then over here we have, I'm thinking it's a locust and an oak here there's the oak there. And they're kind of along the back fence line. So yeah, it's just nice to be out here. Nice to be out with the sounds and the fresh air on a beautiful day. Love it, love it, love it. Yes, bilberry. Yes, this has bilberry in it. It's one of the first ingredients. Ginkgo, green tea, peppermint, and I added a little extra peppermint from my own garden because I really love mint. I really love mint. I love it so much. Like, Girl Gone says you had a lady that would sell gypsy tea. Yeah, organic. Yeah, if you can find people who are making it fresh out of their own gardens and, you know, organically and sustainably, it's so nice to have those connections. Now we've got some sirens going. So like I said, the human element, and we certainly, whatever's going on, we certainly hope for the highest and best outcome there, because it's not always the best sign. The tea is from the bulk herb store. And I'll put I'm gonna write myself a note, link the bulk herb store. I think there's a couple out there. There's like bulk herb store and the bulk herb store. This one's connected to a woman named Shoshana out of like Kentucky, Tennessee area. And I'll have to find it. She may have rebranded too, so I'll get that in the links in the description when I do the timestamps. Yes, I love the like lotus flowers. Yeah, sometimes I have those with the little, they're the little balls, and then you pour the hot water and they open up, like that kind of tea. I love that too. Lotus flowers sounds amazing. I don't think I've ever had a tea with lotus flowers. That would be really, really cool. That would be really, really cool. All right, so that's part of my prep. I wanted to share kind of, you know, I do get my tea. I also have a little bit of coffee in here. I usually start out with a little bit of coffee and then my tea, and then I have water. So I have like 3 things going on. And then today I prepped with a few crystals that I wanted to share with everybody. So let's take a look at these. And all of these things are things that are layering and creating a foundation for the live. So they all have something to do with the live, the nature, the tea, the crystals. Anyone know what this one is here? This little tower. I know some of you know what it is. It's a white, translucent, opaque-ish stone. Selenite, that's right. Yes, it's a beautiful selenite tower. I chose this today because this type of crystal tends to be very cleansing and clearing. And I've been through a lot of heavy shadow energies lately, working with releasing some people-pleasing tendencies and patterns that were quite steeped and involved, going back in my ancestral line. And so it's just very interesting that this kind of a tool, a crystal tool, can assist with cleansing after all that heavy shadow work. I do releasing, but what I like about selenite is that it's actually cleansing. It actually helps clear any residual energy, and it's very good at cleansing itself as well. So this is one, if I'm not mistaken, this is one that self-cleans and clears. You can charge it, but it self-clears. And so it's just a really nice thing to have there. All right, then the next one, you guys will love this because it's so cute and sweet. It is R2D2, and it's a lapis lazuli R2D2. And I thought this was so cute that I think I found this down at a shop in Joplin, Missouri, and lapis is all about inner truth and insight. A lot of times it's connected, yes, it's the Star Wars vibe again. It's connected to like the third eye, and it's just very interesting because I always think of R2, he's kind of like a little MacGyver in a robot body. And he always seems to know what's going on. He seems to have the right tools in his toolkit. And I just felt like, all right, like, it would be really helpful to have some what do I want to say, ingenuity and just allowing, because if you're anything like me, it's a lapis lazuli, or sometimes you just hear it called lapis, and it's like a blue with like a gray and silver. Sorry, my phone just kind of glitched a little bit there, but yeah, lapis. And I'll add the crystals also when I add the timestamps. I'll link the ones that I'm talking about here. But yeah, I just thought, you know, with everything that's been going on and all the release and transformation and transmutation that I've been going through, lapis is a beautiful stone to help just take the next best step when you have like clarity. So these two go along nicely, selenite and the lapis as well, because you're talking about clarity, you're talking about ideas, you're talking about intuition, but intuition that's combined with ingenuity and being able to have the right tool for the right situation, whether it be energetical, spiritual, physical, etc. And then of course, this one I always like to have, but I love the shape this is in. This is, anybody want to fashion a guess at this? This is an egg shape, obviously. It's obviously an egg shape. Rose quartz, that's right. Karen's here. Hi, Karen. Missing the Sunday lives, but I feel like last week's Friday was so personal. Wow, yeah, thank you for tuning in. If you tuned into last week's, it was like, it was a tough subject for me. And to be honest, I'm still working through it, the whole people pleasing, and, you know, because some of the patterns I noticed were so incredibly subtle. But it's kind of cool. I'm holding up this stone here while I'm talking about it, because this is a very much a self-love stone and self-soothing, and it's calming, as well as promotes like emotional healing. And so, you know, when you come to the understanding that some of these patterns, whether it be people pleasing, codependency, you know, these different things, and you're someone who's done the work, like you've done a good amount of work, but you start to realize the very subtle ways that these energies are playing out in your life and how much they have influenced you. And it's kind of like a big reality check smack in the face when you're like, oh shit, you know, I'm still dealing with this. And so, you know, I love having this crystal around because it can help with that self-love, self-care, grace. You know, it's a very gentle, and I love the egg because it represents like a new beginning, something is being nurtured and it will hatch, right? And so I love the shape of that as well for today. And then lastly, some of you might know this stone if I can get it. It's got a very specific pattern there. Does anyone know this one? Karen gets a sense of love and compassion. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. There are multiple, what do I want to say? Themes and benefits and resonances to these different crystals. I just selected what I was like vibing with, some of the energies that they were providing me. But when you're working with crystals, you want to take what's resonating with you. So have your own personal relationship with the mineral and rock kingdom. This one, yeah, this one's agate, Kimberly. It is a blue lace agate. There's a different, trying to get it in the light just right so you could see. It's a very light blue. It looks a little grayer here because I have an umbrella up because the sun is going to come out and heat me up if I'm not careful. Blue lace agate, also a very calming and soothing stone. And I kind of feel like when we're going through these throes of releasing huge patterns, and our physical body is having symptoms related to, or having effects related to that. And there's a lot of, you know, digestive stuff going on, a lot of release there, a lot of feelings in the gut, and just the energies that are bubbling up and out in a good way because they're being transformed. It's nice to have these extra helpers, and you can carry these in your pocket. Ladies, you can stick them close to your heart in your bra. You can, you know, make a necklace out of them, whatever works for you. But just having that as a gentle reminder. And they kind of remind me a lot, crystals remind me a lot of like the adaptogenic effects of like mushrooms, because I feel like, and I mean beneficial mushrooms, you know, which, you know, there's many different kinds. Don't eat poisonous mushrooms, of course, but the beneficial ones, the adaptogens, they work very gently. So I picked, you know, stones that would be gentle, but also powerful. Like the lapis is a more powerful mental clarity kind of stone, as well as working with the selenite in that effect. Hopefully I'll pronounce this right. Chalcedony? Is that how you spell it? Donnie? Chalcedony? 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 Yeah, it is. It's, I didn't get out. I have a huge encyclopedia. It's called Love is in the Earth, and it's by a woman named Melody, and it's an encyclopedia for crystals. I didn't pull it out because I honestly was really intending to vibe with these crystals on a more, what do I want to say, not general level, but kind of gentle level. But we could really take it, and I've talked about before maybe doing a live where we go deeper into the crystal and mineral kingdom. Chalcedony, thank you. Chalcedony is how it's pronounced. Yeah, I've definitely butchered the names of many a crystal in the past. But those are the ones I selected today, and some of you might have seen one that you like, or you might have your own piece or selection of that. And yeah, work with what works for you, work with the energies. You know, there's all kinds of energies. I was just kind of, it's the tip of the iceberg, what I was mentioning. You can go so deep into these crystal energies, and they are really nice to have with you when you are going into like those deeper meditations and those deeper moments, because they can help amplify or calm or whatever you program them to do for you. Yes, I know crystals are so fun, and I have so many that I have that I've forgotten the names of, and I probably need to get one of those identifier apps to figure it out. But it's a lot of fun. So today, what we're really going to work with, so I've got, you know, some of you were here at the beginning, but if not, we'll do a little bit of the Zen chimes, a little bit louder. We've got nature, we've got tea, we've got crystals, and of course we have cards and things to help us on our way. And these are all just tools. It's really our energy and the energy we're showing up with that makes a difference. Yeah, and crystals would be amazing. Larger lapis necklace or ring, Karen. Yeah, that would be beautiful. You will send me some of the green jasper from the Ogden River. Nice. Oh my gosh. Green jasper, that sounds amazing. I love the green stones. I didn't pick any today, but I will. Yeah, we could do so much with the crystals. We're gonna have to do that. That's gonna have to go down as an inspiration. So today we're going to, after all the heavy shadow work I've been doing, I'm like, you know what? I wanna have something more upbeat today. I want to have something more graceful. I want to have something a little more gentle, all of these things, so we can kind of feel the energy of any kind of reset that we need, or any kind of clarity that we need, or any kind of calming that we need. So we'll definitely get into some things that have to do with the nervous system and making sure we're regulated with that. But it's really about, today is about igniting our inner radiance. So maybe we've been connected to it, but it's been hit or miss. Maybe some of us are going deeper into how we are radiant, how we shine our light. Maybe it's about feeling free and able to express ourselves unapologetically without feeling like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm people pleasing, or I'm sacrificing something that I want to do or feel comfortable with for someone else's needs. Now, sacrificing it and compromising are different things. So how many times, I mean, most of us are relating to other people as we move in and out of our days. And how many times do we bump into these energies? And we really have to make decisions about how we communicate and interact, right? And how can we do that from having our essence shine from the inside out without the mask, right? We can be direct and honest, but we can also be compassionate and understanding. And that is a tough, balance to strike sometimes. It's not always easy. And there's times where maybe we feel like we're winning with that, and other times where we feel like, oh, I just want to go in my room, close the door, and, and just cover up with the sheets, and I'm done, you know? So, not saying that that's exactly like that for you, but think about the ways that maybe you feel like, and maybe it's like with responsibility or time spent, and maybe the time you're spending like is really good. It's like worthwhile. Like some of us have children, putting energy towards our children as their stewards in this world. That means a lot to us, but it can also be incredibly draining, and we can sometimes get lost in those energies. Some of us, it has to do with a workplace where we might start to feel like we are just pouring and pouring and pouring into it, and all of a sudden the scales are unbalanced and we're not being valued as we should be. Sometimes it's in relationship dynamics that these things come through. So identifying where you might need to show up more strongly in your inner radiance, or more authentically, let's put it that way. So let's try a Q&A here. How would you like to enhance your radiance? Okay, how would you like to enhance your radiance? And that can be, is it something like does it have to do with your physical body? Does it have to do with exercise? Oh, it tells me something went wrong. I have so many troubles with the Q&A. Let me try again. Start Q&A. Come on now. Just let me know if you could see it. It's like just telling me it's not. Okay, it didn't like that. Done. Let me try to. Party people. Hi, Sherlock Holmes. Party people. It's me again trying to put a Q&A sticker up and it not showing up. You could see me like messing with the screen. Yeah, it doesn't want to post that. I do better with polls, but polls also take longer to write down. So it's like, come on now. I like this color. So the question is, how would you like to enhance your radiance? What arena of life is it in for you? Does it have to do with how you show up? Does it have to do with maybe getting some sort of, okay, I did post the Q&A. How would you, and it just says, how would you to enhance your radiance? Because I didn't get the like in there. But you understand what I mean here. We're having fun with it. We're taking things on lightly here today, okay? We're exploring and experimenting. We're not going to let any of the energies be too heavy today. That's definitely not the direction we want to go. So how would you like to enhance your radiance? Tressa says, Karen, I need someone to polish stones for me. Do you have a connection? Ooh, yeah. Let us know, because we're embracing the crystal queen and kingdom today. And we're talking about embracing our true selves and how we can enhance our own radiance. So in what way, drop a comment for me, in what way would you like to enhance your own radiance? Maybe it's about showing up more. Maybe it has something to do with your health. Maybe it has something to do with getting more rest, drinking more water, starting a supplement routine. What could it be that would help you enhance? How would you like to enhance your radiance? And I don't even know if you guys can see the Q&A. It shows up for me, but as I'm viewing it on another channel here, I do not see it. So some people see it, some don't. Maybe enactment, my dad energy. Okay, so there's some father, dad energy going on that maybe enhance that. Not sure how. Well, maybe that's to be revealed. Maybe it will be revealed as you enhance presence in those situations. Yeah, I think I figured that out. Karen has been drinking more water. You had a kidney stone. Ugh, I'm sorry. Ouch. That sounds really painful. Right. It's very hard to get into these radiant energies when our nervous system is dealing with something, whether it be a health issue, an emotional issue, a stress related kind of thing. Teresa said, I would love for my radiance to not be so closely tied to financial success. That is such a big topic in and of itself. Thank you for sharing that, because it's like, I find it, for me, it bumps up against my desire to feel safe with resources and abundance, and also, I don't want to say fighting against, but sometimes it feels like battling with the societal push as far as the expectations of, you got to work hard, you work your fingers to the bone, these kinds of things, which I think are being changed and released. But then there's the opposite side of the spectrum, where there's lazy entitlement and all of that kind of stuff. And then there's so many of us that are just trying to find the balance. We want to have the resources to be able to navigate and share our purpose in the world, but we also know that that's a tool, and to put all of our energy into that and slip into the dynamic of greed and just being consumed, or not even slipping that far into it, but just being consumed with, I need to put money in the bank, I need to put money in the bank. I need to think about my kids' future. What am I going to leave my children, or how am I going to be able to reach more people with my purpose and my mission here, and that can definitely deregulate the nervous system. It definitely can. So that's a huge one, and I want to thank you for bringing that up. Like, so how can you maybe unwind a little bit and then understand that, you want to be in the flow of abundance. You want to be maybe in that feminine flow, Teresa, but without being so stuck and focused on that, right? And that is, sometimes I think in our world that financial success is looked at as a like something to aspire to, but then there's a lot of people with a lot of finances and resources that are contributing to the problem, or they're not a part of making the world a better place. They've been unable to stay connected to that and have lost parts of themselves. And I'm not saying everyone, it's not a one-size-fits-all world, so there's all kinds of different experiences here, but to wrap up your value into, what your salary is or your paycheck. A lot of people are out there doing things, then they're not receiving back the value that they're putting in. So it's a tricky situation. And even as I talk about it, I'm not gonna lie, my body, I can feel tension in my gut and in my sacral, kind of region down there, just like, it's hard even, addressing it. So having the courage to address it in that way is Beautiful. Oh, cool. Hello, Paul Freed, Wildwood. I will be doing live Q&A readings where they're personal mini readings on Sunday evenings. So today is collective, but I'd love to give you a message from your mom, Paul. The next lives are September 7th and September 21st on this channel at 7 p.m. Central. So I thank you for dropping that in because I have not reminded everybody of that yet. So I appreciate you coming in, and I would love to do that for you if you come on to one of my lives. We start at 7 p.m. Central sharp, and I do recommend if you really have a question you want answered to drop in early. And drop your question in early because I will go for an hour and I usually always run out of time and I don't get to everyone's questions. Sometimes I do, sometimes magically it happens, but other times, so just giving a heads up there. 9/7 and 9/21, they're Sunday evenings, 7 to 8. Awesome. I would love to have you there. But we also love to have you here at Frequency Friday. A lot of times people report back to me that the messages that come up on Frequency Friday, even though they're collective, they have a direct resonance with. So hopefully you can stick around and hang out. All right, Karen says she's starting. Oh, wait, let me go back a little. Radiance, okay. Jason says, being consistent with my workouts and training, which you're doing a great job of, babe. I'm witnessing that. It's amazing and inspirational. Karen is starting to pack for the move, or you want to start packing for the move. Yeah, I'm getting ready to have a garage sale and I need to work on that myself. We're clearing out. Karen's been practicing her watercolor art more and offering spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayers for people. Nice, that sounds absolutely beautiful. And watercolors are so amazing. When I think of watercolor too, and I think of like the overlap of the colors, and I think of the spaces in between, and I think of the abstract nature, but the flowy nature of it. It's just such a beautiful medium. So wonderful. You'll have to let us know if you do share your artwork somewhere or on social media or something if you'd like to. Sherlock Holmes says true evil is excess. Yes, the excess, that excess in it, and it just leads to not the best feeling place, right? So today we're really just opening ourselves up if we choose. It's an invitation for you to reset into your radiance. And so in order to do that, sometimes we have to work through some of the soul noise and everything like that. We're going to start off today with resetting our soul compass with our oracle reading. And then I have a few questions to do with that. And then we're going to go into 3 different breakout readings using tarot and the knowledge and wisdom and alchemy of the tarot. And I'll explain those in a little while. But for right now, one of the other things I wanted to share with you is just some of you may have seen the video on my channel where I talk about how I prepare for readings. But just with the cards, I do 3 taps, and to me it feels good to kind of brush them like that. And the intention with that clearing is to clear any previous energy that may have been with the cards the last time that I used them in a reading, whether it be for someone personal or a group. And so that's just kind of, you'll see me do that throughout. You'll see me kind of do that. Just, it's like second nature to me now. When you intend for something and you set an intention and the intention becomes the habit, the positive habit, it's just one of those things that flows for me now. And it's just, I love it. But I was opening this particular deck. This one's called The Magical Drum Oracle by Freya and Daniel Norling. And they have a YouTube channel. I think she's called Freya TV now. She kind of has her own, series. And she is a, what do we call it? I'm not thinking of the right words. I'll think of it. Sorry. It's the menopause. It's the menopause time of life and things go out. I keep wanting to say Celtic witchcraft, but it's not. It's like pagan witchcraft, but she lives in up in Norway, I think, and so she has a really big connection with nature and the reindeer, and it's very mystical and it's very interesting. And she has this very cool deck that's inspired, you know, and in my ancestry, part of my ancestry comes from that area of the world, and so being connected with the languages, the people, the runes, the nature, the winter, the reindeer, the cold water, right? Talk about a reset, cold water, all of those things. But what I saw is that we have this beautiful poem that they put on the back of the book here. And so I'd like to read this as we're getting into the oracle reading, and then we'll pull a card from her deck. And it says, "You can't hear the wind, he does not sing. When he passes through the branches, it's the leaves that will ring. You can't hear the wind, he does not speak. When he falls down the mountain, it's the hills that will weep. And when the hillside hums, the river discovers. The water tells the rock and the land that it covers. A word to the seed and a drop to the hawk. You can't hear the wind, it's the land that will talk." And I just thought that just gives me tingles. And that just is just such a beautiful poem that they have shared, Freya and Daniel, with this deck. And they have a really cool channel, so maybe that's something you might want to check out. Nordic witchcraft is what she practices. And you know, so she's very, very educated in the runes too, in the language of the runes and the pronunciation. She has a great video about how to pronounce the runes properly, which I have been studying. And sometimes I'll just put it on and it's like she'll speak it and then you repeat it. It's great. Ooh, and I am going to use her little book because I'm very much still learning the deck and the meanings of the different symbols and signs. But we got number 16, and it's called The Birds. See the birds? I love it. Maybe we'll have some birds visit us. At the very beginning, we had a woodpecker. All right, just one moment. I'm just having a moment for Paul, because I can feel in your heart you're missing Mom, and you're going to Graceland. That's beautiful. Paul, we're sending you just lots of love and comforting energies during this time where you're having remembrances and probably grieving too. All right, wishing you so much. Like I'm glad that you're getting the opportunity to do that. What a wonderful way to honor her. Yes, isn't that a pretty poem too? Yes, so we've got the birds, and this is about freedom, beauty, expression, and happiness. Find what makes you unique and live by it. This can also indicate a rebirth. Remember, I had the egg shape on the rose quartz, so that's coming up again. The birds with their eggs, right? Independence, honesty, and truthfulness. So all of these things that last Frequency Friday was talking about, and leading into this one, this Frequency Friday, maybe with some of the more uplifting energies actually after clearing some of the shadows and some of the pain and some of the things that needed to be cleared, right? This is also about removal of obstacles and challenges, so I love that. I'm also thinking, it doesn't say this here, but I'm thinking how birds have a different perspective. They can see the forest through the trees. We've entered into Virgo season, and Virgo's very analytical, a lot of attention to detail. It can be easier during this time to get super focused on something and not see the bigger picture. And the birds kind of come in reminding us, like, get that higher vantage point, take a look at the bigger picture. And this talks about the spiritual human desire to escape gravity, defy gravity, right? Like they sing in the new Wicked movie, defying gravity. And so really this is a card about freeing yourself from what feels toxic or heavy to you, and really embracing your own beliefs that are uniquely aligned with you and your purpose and your mission and your vision. And what's nice about this too is that it does indicate a card of good wealth and abundance ahead. So we were just talking about, Teresa brought up, you know, that connection. Maybe we can just open our arms and let the universe, and our hearts, let's open our hearts to and let the universe bring that to us in whatever form is going to be for our highest and best. So that's a really beautiful message there from the birds. A number 16 too, if anybody wanted that. I got to get a sip of tea. Karen's got 1 and 6 is 7. Yep, you can always add the numbers together and break them down. 7, very, very significant number for you, and it comes up a lot in your life. Yeah, absolutely. The number 7. Yeah, we'll have to do a numerology. We'll have to do a numerology talk sometime too, because I just feel like there's so much we can go into, and they connect so deeply to the cards. But 7, I'm kind of getting of like that that spiritual growth kind of energy to it. So I'm wondering, Karen, maybe you could share how it comes up for you or does it have different meanings at different times for you? Because some of the numbers are connected to different things, not just one. Just like the crystals, they can have different properties. Yeah, but I'm also thinking 7 can be kind of that number that indicates a phase for us that we go through before we settle into something a little more rhythmic, right? So things are still moving and changing and evolving with 7. Ooh, nice. So I wanted to get a card from the Rose Oracle here. And isn't this a cool little box and deck? It comes with the little diamond top. It's really cool. I love it. We got Morning Dew, and it says clarity. Yay, because I was intending for that today. A fresh start and a positive outlook. I would say this card encapsulates exactly what I was intending for in this live today. It's that freshness. It's a new day dawning. It's new feelings. It's that sense you get where you can take a deep breath after you've released something heavy or big or worked through something quite shadowy. And there's a lot of flow energy going on here. And you can see the character, she's quite vulnerable, but also quite open at the same time. So overcoming some of maybe the rut energy that we get into at times, getting in a rut, feeling stuck, and opening up into a new flow here. And can we wake up and observe the dew on the grass after a long dark night? You can consider that dark night of your soul, working through a major pattern or issue, as I've shared lately with that. Yeah, so for some of you, you know, it's just you even showing up here and being present to hear the messages is what's going to bring this energy in for you. So this isn't, yes, this is about doing the hard work when the hard work is called for energetically and spiritually, but this is also about opening and receiving. And I really wanted today to be something that would open for us and would allow you to also receive something here. So I hope that those fresh starts and positive outlooks that any of you are looking for really start to be present in your body. You really start to feel it and align your nervous system with it, right? And we're gonna, when we go through the breakout tarot readings, that's going to be some of the reflective questions that we ask and some of the work we do. Because really this reading is about getting on the pulse. It's getting in that soul compass reset. And there's a little bitty spider crawling on my, oh, there he goes, hanging by his little web there, a little thread. Looks pretty harmless. Whoa, where'd he go? He might be on me, but It was a little teeny tiny one, doesn't look dangerous at all. And I love spider energy, so I'd say we'll bring that up. Halloween's around the corner. We're already seeing that stuff out there. So as you're thinking through and you're hearing these messages, you know, really getting comfortable with what the frequency is that you want to be embodying right now and how that relates to your authenticity, but also joy, So let's get a card here from our Healing with the Fairies Oracle. I want to get one of these cards. These are vibrant and really cool cards. There we go. This one needed a clearing. They're a little sticky. Karen says, fresh start, positive outlook. Kidney stone could have been some anger that was needing to be released. Yes, absolutely. Drinking more water when you wake up in the morning is helping. Yes. Okay, the Healing with the Fairies. We do have a little bit of a advice message here. It says raising your standards. So when we talk about getting ourselves more in a place where our nervous system can be in alignment and where we can allow for flow and some of the abundance energies to find us, because sometimes they're there, but we're out of alignment with our own, in our systems, in shock or overwhelm or overload. Part of the maybe more challenging work to do with that is raising your standards. So looking at the points in your life, this could be about you speaking up and asking for a raise at your job. This could be you commanding your value. And when I say commanding, I mean that's a powerful word. You're commanding to the universe, to another person, to your boss, what your value and your worth is. And you come to the place where you won't accept less than what your true value is and what your worth is. For some of you, this may have to do with relationship issues out in the dating world, or relationships, or just in your own relationship, taking it to the next level. How can you, if you are in a healthy partnership, how can you and your partner raise your standards together for your life? Because that's part of the reason we come together with partners too, is so that we can attempt to navigate together. It brings in another dynamic, it brings in its own set of challenges, but how can we raise our standards for our own life? You know, if you've been attracted to this channel, it's because you are most likely connected with the part of you that is a creator. Yes, you're having a human experience. Yes, you're going through shadows. Yes, there's been times you've been reactive and you've made mistakes and you've learned, but there's something in you that constantly informs you that you're meant to be here and you're here to make this world a better place in your own unique way. Okay? Now this feels, even I'm just going to describe, I'm feeling a little discomfort in the sinus and throat area. So this could have to do with some of you finding your voice. Paul has to go back to work. I understand. Have a great day, Paul. Thank you. Yeah, so this could have to do with finding your voice. This could have to do with the immune system for some of you here. And so I just wanted to put an attention on that. So maybe it's raising our standards in communication for what kind of communication we'll participate in and what kind we won't, right? Maybe it's expressing ourselves differently, right? Karen says, I need to energetically raise my standards. I've been in a rut with our living situations, renting, so buying a home feels like a big elevation of a situation. And you don't want to carry, you don't want to carry that old rut energy along with you. Yeah, into your new mindset. Yes. So there's that clearing. There's the clarity is coming in. And, you know, this has come up several times too. I'll just highlight this. Sometimes when we're going through cycles, the beginning and ending, like, you know, you have the ending and then you have the beginning and you have the beginning and the ending, and it just keeps going perpetually. Sometimes we have the tendency, our minds tend to think, ending, solid line, new beginning. But oftentimes there's this incredible overlap and transitional energy going on where we're letting go the ties to the ending and we're beginning to anchor ourselves in the beginning. And Karen, I think what you're mentioning is navigating that very intentionally so that you will not be bringing along some of the things that went along with the older energy into the new. So it doesn't happen overnight. Like, you know, it's just like when a relationship ends, you're not just, I mean, some people act like they're on to the next thing like 24 hours later without a problem, but you're really not. There really is a huge transitional period there, right? That takes place. And so where are you in that energy? And I think was it Sunday night's readings? If anyone was there that can remember, I just felt like it's felt like so many people have been going through endings of their own. And I would say, as I look back over the Sunday night readings, the personal readings, people have been ending cycles. And recently I have felt like the majority of people are now more strongly in the new beginning than connected to the end, which is good, but it's been a process. This hasn't been something that just happens overnight. It definitely takes time. Definitely takes time, and it takes awareness and attention and maintenance. All right, yes. Oh, I'm glad this is resonating with you, Karen, that you needed this today. Sorry, I'm reaching for my cards because I'm outside on the patio table and I've got everything spread out here. I love this little deck. My daughter gifted me this Woodland Wardens deck here. And so I want to get an oracle card from this deck as well. I really love the way that the plant and animal kingdom can assist us. We've talked about the crystals today. We've got the mineral kingdom. I touched on the fungal kingdom, the mycelium, the mushrooms, the communication with all of that is just so beautiful, how they help us adapt, the adaptogens. And now let's get a plant and animal ally for us in all this. I'm not sure this is the one I wanted, but it's the one that came out. Okay, so we got the coyote, which we know from Native American lore that the coyote is a trickster, and we got datura, which is a flower that blooms by the moon, and I think parts of it are poisonous. Kimberly, I feel like I pulled datura for you before in the past. Moon energy. So this is a shadow, and it says deceit. So let me just show you the card here. Deceit. Now, I don't necessarily know if some of you may be experiencing deceit from or you just feel that energy in people around you. You know, to me, it doesn't feel like a real inner circle personal energy for this group who's listening. It feels more like you're just aware of deceptive energies going on around. But the reason that we have that, what I would say, I'm going to call it a distant mirror right now, because what it feels like, it's a mirror, but it's not like a front and center mirror. It kind of feels like a shadow work mirror that's kind of over here going, don't forget about me. And that's to utilize the energy, okay, of the work we do in the shadows to turn ourselves inside out and learn and process and pay attention to the ways that we deceive ourselves. So I think that's where what I'll call the distant mirror here is coming from. Some of you may have situations that come more closely in, and you're like deceptive, right? Deceptive energies, or I'm deceiving myself here. It's a tough energy. Again, this datura flower is one that only blooms by the moonlight, and so it brings an important message that sometimes it's through the shadow work and staying present with yourself and being able to as a mature, adult, energetically aligned person, being able to look at where you might be deceiving yourself and how you can clear and navigate those energies. I'm going to have to do a little, there we go. So just clearing the energies of deceit by processing whatever information we need to process. Karen says, a friend on Facebook, not so coincidentally, asked this morning what songs we played over and over when we felt like life was really low. And you thought of the song Someone That I Used to Love by Natalie Cole. Ooh, beautiful. And you say, I'm now seeing in this reading how this loving release energy of the song applies to your rental situation now and how it would apply now. Yeah. So if there's any deceptive energies going on around that feel more personal to you, they may be coming up for you to take a look at the ways you might deceive yourself. And since we got raise your standards as well, there could be something sneaky in there in the shadow for you, or there may not be, but you will determine through your own intuition what resonates with you there with the deception. The datura plant can be used as medicine as well for clarity. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Now, I want to go to another deck that kind of, you know, I feel like it can be very revealing. It's called, it's hard to see the words, the Faceted Garden Oracle. And I want to see what could be revealed through this oracle message here. So we're raising our standards. We're really paying attention to the subtle, distant mirror of deceit. Maybe for some of us, like that fear of being deceived or fooled or tricked or let down could be sneaking up. There's a crow. Hear the crows? Another shadow creature likes to come in. Ooh, I love this. This will enhance, for those of you who felt the connection with the crystals earlier, we got the mineral realm. And I really feel like the mineral realm right now is a beautiful helper. I love the way it's depicted in this card here. It's got like stones upon stones and striations. You can see kind of those beautiful striations in the stones here. They come together in this beautiful way. I see growth here. I almost see like, this almost feels like, oceanically, this feels like the barrier, Great Barrier Reef, or a coral reef, like a sacred coral reef, which feeds and nourishes the ocean. And it's really interesting. Up here we have like a sphere, and it's giving me kind of a Mars and Jupiter vibe, like kind of put together. I've got like the red colors of Mars, but like the patterns that you might witness in Jupiter. And I feel like we've got some splashing water going down right here. I really feel like the mineral kingdom is popping up for us to really help us ground in and accentuate these energies that are going to help us redirect and point our compass where we really need to be and what's going to be for our highest and best path. Also, I want to bring this up because it's coming up again. I thought of it before the live. Has anyone heard of the book? I'm not going to remember the author because this is like I should have. I want to say she's like Marianne, but it's like the Swedish art, the gentle. Oh gosh, I'm gonna have to link this too. The Gentle Swedish Art of Death Clearing, and it's about, it's a book that's written about as we kind of turn the page to the second halves of our lives, we begin to gift items, we, give away, we let go of things, the things that we can't take it with us. That's coming up again here with the mineral realm. So maybe as I'm working on my garage sale, I'm going to have to put a crystal grid my garage and driveway and get everything going, because it can be a big task, but it can also be, I really enjoy garage sales because my neighbors will come by, I get to talk to them. I don't talk to them all the time. It's kind of nice to see them. I feel like my kids, the clothes that they didn't destroy can go to someone. I feel very like rejuvenated in the energy. I try to offer like really good prices, or people can find something for a great deal, something that they might otherwise spend a lot of money on. And so it just feels like it helps me open, and it helps me be in that give and receive. Kimberly says, but of course, do your own research first on Datura. Yes, we're not just going to drink the tea without knowing. Of course, yes. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I really like sat today intentionally, and I have like that whole tower of tarot cards that usually you'll see behind me when I'm filming indoors, and I had decided to be outside. So I turned my chair toward my tower, and I kind of just let the cards come out. You know, I gazed, I just kind of like softened my gaze, and I looked, and then they would just, me, you know, they'd say like, me, I'm the one today. And so the same thing with the crystals that came up. So, you know, I feel there are some Fridays, like not every Friday is as smooth, but I really started with the intention a few days ago that I wanted this to be more uplifting, just because of all the heavy shadow work that myself and other people have been doing. It's nice to relax in, pull out all your tools, allow yourself to be just super present in the moment, and see what is yours to receive. And that's just a beautiful energy. So thank you for that. I just had a burp come up, and that means energy is moving, which is good. With rocks and more rocks in my life, moving to Michigan, which has beautiful rocks and water, but also making my own rocks in my kidneys kind of a warning. Yeah, that could be your way to process and release some things that you won't be taking with you to Michigan, so you can enjoy you know, rocks and stones outside of your kidneys, not in your kidneys. It's very interesting too that the kidneys are part of the excretion, you know, process and clearing things out. I think that's very powerful. Okay, our last oracle card for the oracle reading today comes from the Whispers of Aloha oracle deck. And we're going to clear it out here. Yes, the gentle art of Swedish death clearing, I think it's called. And she has like, I think like the author, it's like Marianne something, I think, but she's got like a three-part name. Yeah, and the pull was to come outside and do the reading today. It really was. Like, I looked at my setup and I'm like, as much as I love it, as much as I've made it my little nook and where I do my lives inside, like, it was just too nice a day. Being outside really does help. And it helps me, I think, quite a bit with grounding for these readings. It's very supportive. I've been craving it being cool enough for me to be outside. Trust me, I have been wanting this. This is so cool because I think this is something Karen was speaking to earlier about what she wants to carry forth. And this has to do with the endings and beginnings. It's number 24, or 2 + 4 is 6. Build on your foundations. Transform through wisdom. And I don't think I've ever pulled this card from this deck. This is the first time I've ever pulled this in a reading, and I absolutely love it. I'm getting a little bit of like a Moana vibe, kind of a Pele kind of vibe. We've got the fire energy coming in. We've got transformation being represented here, right? We've got the kind of foundation. And I'm thinking of too, one thing I've been watching a lot lately is kind of the like extreme weather videos and stuff. Okay, I like science in the sense of I like geology, and I like physical sciences and things like that, volcanoes, you know, earthquakes. Like, I like understanding the rhythm of the mother. And so one of the things I watched lately had to do with the volcanology and volcanoes, and how, like, and fire too, like forest fires, because they, as destructive as they can be, they completely replenish the landscape, and they actually prevent like natural forest fires that are allowed to burn. They thin out the forest and prevent a bigger problem from happening down the road. So they were talking about, remember the Smokey the Bear, and like prevent forest fires and all of that stuff, and there was a lot of push that direction first to like preserve the forest, prevent the fires. It was like fire is the enemy, right? Instead of like really being present with the element of fire, really understanding what it does. No, we don't want anyone to have their life taken in a natural disaster. It's horrible, it's scary, it's very traumatic for people. But what it does for the earth, like what can grow from like a volcano and the volcanic ash as well, it totally rejuvenates the ecosystem. And so maybe we can consider this like a rejuvenation of our own ecosystem, right? And since it's transformation through wisdom, it's us being able to integrate. Whoa, it just jumped out of my hand. Integrate, and there's another word here. Blend. Integrate and blend the wisdom that we've gained into our current experience so that we can carry that forward into the new foundation. This gives me a bit of a swirly, almost like cauldron feel, but very much just using the natural elements around. And I think that's beautiful. I love that. So that to me is a very auspicious message that we're going to be able to move into these new beginnings with a great foundation built on transformations that we've been through. That looks like your river walking stick, like what she's holding. Yeah, it's almost like she's stirring the fire. She is the fire. And she's walking, you know, with the fire in the air. She's kind of walking on the fire in the air. Very, very interesting. Very, very elemental. And I love that. I love that she's holding that walking stick, that wand of fire, because that's truly where, energetically speaking, where we grasp the power of that element and we make change in our life through that rejuvenation. When you tap the screen, that's when the car, yeah, because like all of a sudden it just like Karen was trying to get a good view of this one, and she tapped the screen and that's when it flew out. That's so funny. Oh yeah, we're very, like, anyone who tunes into these live or on the replay, there's definitely an energetic connections going on. Okay, so let's move into the breakout readings. I just want to explain real quick so you can get a vibe. There's going to be 3. Usually, if you stay for the duration, there will be some really powerful messages for you in all 3. But there also may be one that stands out, so just honor your intuition. The first reading we're going to do is called The Soul versus the Noise, okay? And what we're going to ask ourselves with that is, where are we caught in external expectations? Okay. Where are we caught in external expectations? Remember, Tressa had brought up possibly, you know, the financial thing as external expectations, comparison. I need to have this, you know, in order to be that, right? When are these things coming from external of us? And how can we shift into our own inner alignment there and our natural organic timeline with that, and our very innermost alignment with nature and the cosmos and our purpose, our mission, what we're here to experience and explore, right? Versus what's coming from outside of us. So this is a great practice for anyone who works with energy or has a spiritual practice. Karen, that was cool. It's like a telekinesis. I love that. Yeah, so the very first breakout reading, we're going to look at the soul and the noise, right? So how can we quiet and calm the noise? And then we're going to pivot into, for the second root, oh my gosh, all the words just blended together. For the second reading, we're going to go into our rooted power and having a calm presence, okay, for ourselves, okay, first and foremost. Having that calmed nervous system energy, so really recognizing what energy supports your nervous system and then how it will help you center to show up authentically, right? Now, sometimes we know when I go to pull the tarot cards, we're going to get some of the interferences as well. But our goal will be to illuminate how we would move beyond the interferences there. So we're going for rooted power and calm presence in reading number 2. And then in reading 3, that's where we're going to expand into radiance and resonance. How does your authentic expression, like your natural authentic expression, attract aligned connections and opportunities? So it could be much like you found this channel and you're being present for the readings here and you're listening, you're participating. I would like you guys to comment. Comment if you're still here. I know Karen's here. I think Kimberly's still here, but say hi, just say how you're feeling. Let me know if any of these readings stand out to you. The soul versus the noise, rooted power and calm presence, and then radiance and resonance. And then after I'm done with the readings, we're going to have a few affirmations at the end that we can begin to blend in with our other practices and the other work we're doing. So let's get on in. I selected the Crystal Visions Tarot today. It is a calmer, softer, gentler deck. If we need to do clarifiers, I have the Wild Wolf Tarot, but let's go into the soul versus the noise. I'm going to pull 2 cards for the soul and 2 cards for the noise. And let's see if we can get a little bit of context. And then we will expand on that to show us where we might be caught in some external and how we can overcome that. The soul versus the noise. The soul versus the noise. Ooh, this is very interesting how this is coming out here. I'm going to say quite a few of us may be kind of straddling the fence here, okay? Meaning there's an embodiment of the soul and then the interferences are kind of around, okay? The noise. So let me show you the noise. Tress is still here. Great. Thank you for the wave. Okay. The noise is coming from a couple different places from what I see here. Number 1, for some of you, it's your work or your relationship to your workplace, the 8 of Pentacles, or the lack of connection to a career or workplace that suits you. This is part of the noise. We're going to go with the noise first, and then we're going to learn how to clear it out. Now, the 8 of Pentacles indicates that you know, maybe you've been working very diligently. You've put your attention on something. It's important to you. You've been weaving something. You've been creating something. But because this comes up to do with the noise, how might this be out of balance for you, right? Are you not getting enough dedicated time with this? Are you just scratching the surface with this and you would like to go deeper? Do you have judgments around that? Are you a little too hard on yourself about what you're capable of? Do you overestimate what you can get done and then end up feeling bad that you didn't get everything done? So, Girl Gone's back. Hello, hello. Yes. So this might represent something you've been focused on, something you've been putting your attention on, could have elements of external pressures built in, or somewhere in your mind you're connecting this to something that's a little bit harder. It could be like hard work. You may want to work smarter, not harder, but you're struggling to find that balance with this 8 of Pentacles as it shows up in the noise. This other thing here is another part of the noise, and some of you may be dealing with various degrees of this. You know, both or one stands out to you more than the other. The Seven of Wands. There's that seven, Karen. This is like there's a lot coming at you. And you could see that this character on the dragon has one wand and a shield in his hands, and then the other wands are the things coming from external. This is a reality for some of you. There's a lot going on. There's a lot coming at you. And while the barrage of these things can be very transformative, it has your guard up quite a bit, because there may be expectations coming in with some of these other wands. And so when we, and I myself have this self-acknowledged issue where, let me give you the example of how this came up for me recently. Okay, I was not having a good day a few days ago. I was struggling with some communication. I was already very busy with, because I have a part-time job, remote job now. It suits my lifestyle, but I'm learning how to adjust it into what I want to build with my business. And I bumped up against the realization that the things that I might have wanted to accomplish in the month of September, with everything going on, I've got like literally 3 people in my family have birthdays. I'm having a garage sale. There's these eclipses coming. I'm doing my own personal work with that. Kind of having this realization, like I can't accept one more wand here. I can't take another thing. And then the mail came, and I got a jury summons. No. And that, I looked at that and I thought, really, universe? Like, really, you're gonna put one more thing on me, like the Monday after the garage sale, when I should be relaxing? Which, by the way, I'd also scheduled a massage for the Tuesday after the garage sale. Now that I may have to go to jury duty and be summoned here, like I have to move that. And I was like, it was like one of those moments of like, no, not another thing, you know, that what, you know, like, you know. And it was kind of this moment of like defeat, of like, let's just erase today and start over, right? And then I've been craving those energies, but there was a lot coming from the outside. And some of you have that in responsibilities or things that are coming in to your world. You're realizing maybe you're more busy than you had originally intended, and that, you know, factors into you wanting to and feeling like you can achieve all these things, when really you have to take a step back and care for yourself and deal with what's in front of you here. And this is about boundaries as well. So this could be some of us maybe really working to set healthier boundaries, better boundaries, clearer boundaries, or reinforce boundaries that are already set. The red dragon, been seeing you. Okay, Girl Gone's been seeing the red dragons. Yes, there's the red dragon energy. And I always, dragons to me are representative of consciousness, of our consciousness. Different aspects of our consciousness would probably be described as a fire dragon, since it's got that 7 of Wands, and it's the fire energy as well. Tressa says, my husband just got jury summons too. I know, when they find you, like I was summoned last year or the year before for a grand jury. And I'm like, I homeschool my kids. I'm like a backup for my nephew who's got some special needs. Like, and I told the judge that, and he's like, you're not going to be able to do this. And he dismissed me. And I mean, it's true. I mean, it's true. Like, grand jury can go on forever. Okay. So you definitely, like, people who are caretakers, that's very difficult for them to stick with a grand jury. But now it's just a traditional jury summon. So, you know, got to do it. Got to do your civil duty. Okay. And then I have all sorts of like, little irksome feelings about all of that too, with the justice system and how effective and ineffective and just everything to do with that. So, but I'm going to try to embrace the whole thing as a learning opportunity. I'm just going to go in with an open mind and coffee, because you have to be there at 8 in the morning. That's not, I don't even usually get out of bed till 9, except on Frequency Friday when I want to get up and get ready a little. I don't like getting up, forcing myself to get up either. That's another thing. Like, that's another thing, another expectation that we've learned to place on ourselves. Like, you have to get up at this time, you have to go to work, you have to do this, you have to do that. And like, no, like, I'm more good. So like, all these things are just swirling, right? And it's, how do I navigate this, and how do I calm these energies and really reconnect with my soul? And we've got some really powerful, these two cards together are very powerful. They represent, in this particular deck, we have a masculine and feminine energy, which I really like to see there. I think that that represents like an encouragement to come into balance. And the first one is a major arcana card, the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, you know, yes, it represents those moments where you might feel stuck. Like, oh my gosh, your plate just got loaded up. It's another thing. Let me just pause. Let me just pause. And this energy is honestly so powerful, because the Hanged Man is upside down and gaining a new perspective on things. Okay. And this one in particular reminds me a lot, and I'm also getting a vibe of like reconnecting with your psychic intuitive energies as well. I feel like when people step more and more into their purpose and they're coming more and more into alignment in their life, I do believe that their psychic intuitive abilities increase, because they are removing the noise, they're removing the stressors. And this reminds me a lot of when, like, so I'm a Lord of the Rings fan as well. And in the movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo is just setting out with Sam and they're setting out on the journey, and they met up with their Frodo's cousin, Pippin, and Merry, who are two other hobbits. They end up on this trail, and Gandalf the wizard has given some warnings to Frodo, basically like, you know, keep the ring that you're carrying secret. It's a ring of power, and it's trying to get back to its dark lord. But other than that, Frodo doesn't know a lot except where he's going to meet the wizard, right? And so he's looking down the trail, and all of a sudden it's like the trail, just this exhale of like evil energy, and they just did it really cool cinematic like effect, where it's almost like Frodo, everything comes really close, and he can sense that one of these dark ring race is coming down the trail, and he's like, get off the trail, you know, and he's able to have that foresight. So I do feel like this is opening up for people. And sometimes though, we just need to take a moment. We just need to take a time out. We just need to relax. Also, I am getting that physically, like the inverted poses in yoga, headstands, handstands. Don't do these unless you're safe doing them. But they also have, what are those called? Those yoga silks, or like they have wall yoga where you can hang, or they have the little things that you lay on, and you do the inversions and really get blood flowing to the brain, really get that energy. I'm thinking of like the ginkgo energy in my tea here, getting more alert and aware. I do think that when we can hear our own inner voice more clearly through all the noise, that's when our gifts, talents, and abilities expand. Girl Gone's been seeing a lot of 999s and 888s. Yep, and agree. Yes. So that's kind of showing up with the masculine energy here of like, maybe take the action of taking a break, looking at things from a different perspective, really seeing if you can shine some light on the things that are in your energetic field or coming at you, especially if you feel like things are coming at you from external, right? It probably wouldn't feel as good to put a lot of work into it right now, except the inner work of becoming more aligned. Because remember, the Eight of Pentacles is in the noise too. So instead of like overthinking like what modality should I use or what should I do, maybe trying to let it come more naturally. And, you know, surrendering yourself to this energy is also an action. And then we have the feminine energies of the Queen of Cups here. And I love this. I love this Queen of Cups energy. She is aware of her need to take care of herself. She's aware of how she needs to love herself, be compassionate with herself, because her goal is to hold that energy for others. This is a very heart opening, emotional energy, a watery energy here. And Karen, I can't help but think, because I'm starting to get a little in the throat, you were talking about hydration and drinking water. So maybe now is a good time for a water break for all of us. Got my big one here. Hi, Roshni. Roshni, I do personal mini readings on Sunday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. Central. The next two, I do it every other week, is on September 7th and September 21st. I would love to give you some guidance at one of those, but these are collective readings that I hope you'll stick around and enjoy. So this Queen of Cups energy would represent, and Girl Gone's just dropped a message, being on the spiritual journey, emotionally and mentally exhausting. This is representing the emotional replenishing of oneself. We have the lotus flowers too. The lotus tea might be nice. You had mentioned the lotus tea earlier, Girl Gone. So I think that that's really beautiful energy to behold here. I love that we have a bit of the moon energy coming through here. It doesn't, what I'm getting is that like your attempt to connect and align more with your soul does not have to make sense to anybody else. That is what I get. So if any of you are feeling external expectations from partners, loved ones, family, friends, your workplace, that kind of environment, this is the energy of becoming safe and comfortable within, rather than attempting to try to get your safety and comfort needs met from external of yourself. So this is coming up in that regard as well. And really altogether, these are very beautiful energies. We have the noise, but we also have the advice for how to balance these energies out. And I love how I'm getting kind of a yin yang with her facing upright and him facing that way. I kind of am feeling the flow of energy go that way. And that's what we're looking for within. We want to balance that yin and yang nicely within ourselves, despite the noise that is going on around us. To close out this particular reading, I'm getting called to pull another card from the Rose Oracle here. So even though I do mostly tarot here, we're going to do, whoa, that one came right out the side. We're going to do some Rose Oracles to kind of just end on a soft tone with these breakout readings. We got We Are Nature, becoming grounded, embodiment, and living in connection. Look at that. Look how relaxed she is now. Just relaxed in nature, you know, just feeling the vibe, feeling the flow, letting it be, resting in nature, being so connected that you truly get replenished by nature. You truly, like being outside today, this was so nice for me. It's like I feel that nature is constantly grounding me as I'm doing the readings, you know, and whoa. And there's a cicada. There he goes. He came right down and it was like right there. I was going to show you guys, but he flew off that direction. And then I see like the shell of one over here on the, that was funny. So, you know, sometimes you need to be reminded. That was a little extra from the cicada saying, yes, connect with nature. So Jennifer, I do personal readings on every other Sunday evening. The next personal mini reading session will be the 7th of September, and then on the 21st, which I believe is our autumnal equinox, right? Is that right? Is that coming up then? I can't remember exactly, but yeah, stop by for those on Sunday evening, 7 to 8 p.m. Central, where you can ask a personal question and get a free mini reading. But right now, today, we're doing the collective energies. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this as much as you would a personal mini reading. And sometimes the messages you're looking for just happen to be hanging out in these readings as well. Okay, so that's the soul versus the noise. Our next one, which is really interesting that nature came up and made another appearance and the cicada flew by. The next one is rooted power and calm presence. So let's get into what energy supports our nervous systems and helps us center to show up authentically. So what energy supports our nervous systems and helps us show up authentically? All right, I'm feeling the need to pull 3 cards here. What energy supports our nervous system and helps us center and show up authentically? Okay, this is looking good. I will say there is in this, when I'm talking about energy, there is some emotional energy that's kind of taking the lead here. But it starts off with transformation with the death card here. The death card. And we have some lily flowers at the bottom. We have a stone. We have the angel of death with the Ankh staff. We have the butterflies representing transformation. This can be connected to Scorpio energy. So that might be something you'd like to look into with this death card here. And this is beautiful because when we think about what supports our nervous system, we are constantly processing and transmuting the conscious and subconscious energies. Some of them we know of, and others are running underneath the surface. They're kind of running underneath. And so to be able to be in a state of transformation and transformational energy while all these things are running naturally for us, that we're moving a lot of energy. We're moving a lot of energy in that way. And so before we get to the regulation of the nervous system, I just want to talk about the wonder of the nervous system and how much we're actually transforming and processing on a day-to-day basis, and when we're sleeping and in the dream time. This could represent the dream time messages coming through and the ways we regulate through getting proper sleep as well. Because I think it's been said by some of the spiritual community before that, like, when you go to sleep, it's like you die a little death when you go to sleep, and when you wake up the next day, it's like a new life, and then you die a little death and new life, because you go from the conscious to the subconscious. And that's what I'm getting here. So there is definitely a lot of activity in the conscious and subconscious energies, but it's also the ability to process that is helping us not get too overwhelmed in our nervous system. So making sure you're getting enough sleep, finding a nice sleep pattern for yourself. Like I was just talking about, I don't like to wake up go to jury duty at 8 in the morning. My natural time to get up is around 9 a.m., right? And then I can start my day, and I've received enough sleep, you know? So that's coming up. Maybe some adjustments to be made there to get in alignment. When you're rested and well rested, and your mechanism for transforming these subconscious thoughts and energies that you're constantly being bombarded with, when that is flowing, it doesn't get gummed up and stuck, right? And so that transformative energy, the sleep, the ability to give yourself a little credit because you have all these subconscious energies running constantly underneath the surface is really beautiful energy. What's also being advised here for the nervous system is a bit of release, especially around the issues of sadness, grief, guilt is coming up with the 4 of Cups. So some of you may be working on a particular issue, a particular phase of grief, perhaps, or a bit of sadness that you have. And the 4 of Cups would say, hey, It's definitely time to have a look at these emotional energies. If you're trying to maybe ignore them, you may get a little trapped in that energy. And so in order for your nervous system to be aligned, you can see she's kind of sitting next to a little lagoon or a pool here, and the water is very still. It's a bit stagnant. She's trying to decide, do I really want to open this? Do I really want to open to this? Do I really want to deal with this emotion? And you know what's nice about the number 4 though is it does offer a sense of stability. It does offer a sense of sacred space. So can she reach in and bring that lotus to her heart? Can she reach in this cup? Can she dip the cup and drink of this water? That maybe this comes from a clear spring, right? So I'm just saying metaphorically, if we imagine this card coming to life, what could she do here to move some of the emotional energies? So in order for the nervous system to feel regulated and you to feel safe, some of these emotional energies may need to be processed. And I'm just going to look at her one more time here and see. This also represents, in the background here, we have 3 cups lined up behind her and 1 before her. So this also represents the fact that some of you are already in this process and you've been doing the work and you've successfully integrated some of these emotional energies, or the release of those emotional energies, and integrated a new energy from this. And what we're moving into here with the calm presence is the 10 of Cups. And we have a very romantic, precious looking card here. And this is where we feel emotionally held, emotionally stable. And though there are different characters in this card, this could represent versions of ourself, right? And you could see how the female in the card is cradling the baby. That would be representative of us really caring for our inner child. And even if we as a child were not held and we were not cared for, and a safe space was not created for us, how could we do that for ourselves now? How can we bring together the masculine and feminine energies within to support ourselves emotionally and calm the nervous system? Because it's when the nervous system is calm and you're feeling safe within that you're able to center yourself, show up authentically, and take whatever actions you need to take. So this reading for Rooted Power is a lot about being emotionally stable and making sure that the emotions are being addressed. This can be helped through journaling or being in nature or being close to water even. Let's get a Rose Oracle card here to close off this reading. I feel pretty complete with this here. I feel like we're being given the message that the energy of transforming our emotions and allowing our emotions to process is what's going to get us regulated and also give us the ability to show up authentically. And for some of you, this is about also sharing your story. So you go through the emotional energies. Sometimes in the moment, it can be a little messy and you might not feel like showing that to everyone. It might be on the more private side, but is there an opportunity to allow yourself to be witnessed, or maybe to inspire others through sharing how you processed a certain bit of guilt or shame or whatever it is you're up against? Girl Gone says, you're definitely releasing and letting go, and you think you're at the phase in your spiritual journey to release everything, and my spirit guides are taking it away from me that no longer serves. Yeah, and you know, I really see spirit guides and our sacred ancestors and our medicine people as extensions of ourselves, of our greater beings. They are, you know, parts of us that we are divinely and naturally connected to. And so to me, when you're telling me your spirit guides are taking it away, these would not these would be things, energies that, yes, they have their own maybe origin point and personality, but they are deeply integrated with you in your greater system of support. And so that's how I view spirit guides. A lot of people connect guides and things to something outside of themselves, but it's really part of your greater being. These are really aspects of yourself that are in deep connection with those certain energies. And I think that that's beautiful. And I know that that's how you're relating to it from a very, very personal place. And it's okay to ask for help, right? We have to be willing to ask for help and support sometimes, because a lot of us create additional stress for ourselves because we're unwilling to ask others for help and assistance. We're unwilling to dedicate resources and time to our own self-care and our needs that need to be met. Grogan says, in all honesty, I've been actually venting out loud to myself about all the things I've gone through and decisions I've made and just releasing it. Yes. And the wind. Remember I read that poem at the beginning about the wind and letting the elements like work with us, you know, letting them carry it away. It's very beautiful. You know, you don't always need like the guided meditation or, you know, the certain appointment with someone. A lot of these energies you can transmute within yourself when you get to that certain level. But at the same time, you can ask for help, whether it be from your own greater being and the spirit team that's connected there, or it could be from just your own inner wisdom. That hermit that holds that light, that lantern, that's your own lantern working with your energies there. Beautiful. It's really beautiful. I love that you're venting that out. That's the processing, that's the transformation, that's the letting it out so that it can be recycled into whatever it needs to be. All right. And this, for rooted power and calm presence, we got the return. I love this. A new story you get to decide. It's about alignment and coming together. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that, again, reminds me of like the masculine and feminine coming together. I'm also getting the vibe of like, have any of you seen like The Dark Crystal? It's like an 80s movie. I'm getting that, you know, they had the wise creature being that the Gelflings would talk to, and then they had the Skeksis, their like shadow side, but they were actually like one being, and they had to come back into some sort of alignment in order to be made whole again. And so, you know, this is about bringing together the fragmented aspects of the self, which is what shadow work is. We're going out into the depths of our soul, which is what Scorpio energy loves to do. And we are finding those fragmented and lost aspects of our soul, and we're bringing them back together for reintegration. Maybe we've integrated some of it, but we still have a little bit more to go, right? And how can we create the energy where this feeling right here of the masculine, feminine, and child coming together within ourselves, how can we relate to that? Like, some people will look at that and say, I want that. Where's my knight in shining armor? I want to have the baby with the man, and I want to have the baby with the woman, or whatever, right? And it's kind of this external goal. But what about looking to become this energy in and of yourself, and like having those aspects of you all in integration so that you can return with this great alignment and coming together? And I think that's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful part of the journey. I feel like I need to release something myself here personally. Okay. Grogan says, to some people it might sound crazy, but just crying and letting it out and saying it out loud helps get rid of it. Absolutely. So much moves on the spoken word, on the voice. However you need to express it. I don't think that sounds crazy at all. And I feel like, honestly, people who converse with themselves and have these conversations with the universe out loud, actually it's a representation of a greater intelligence, honestly. So people who talk to themselves. Like, even if you're walking around the house doing housework and making observations and things, like when you hear yourself say something out loud, you can really read the energy signature and the tone of your own voice, you know, and that can be really informative for us. So I think it's incredible that that's one of the ways that you process that, right? So yeah, for some of you, it might be about being witnessed. For others of you, it's about witnessing yourself. And I'm glad you shared that. And that's what I mean. When we're looking at these energies and the cards that come up in the readings, you're going to definitely have certain things that stand out, or they might stand out to you in a different way. And you have to follow your own intuition with that to make sure that what is being shared is in alignment with what's going to work for you, right? And some of you, as I'm talking and working through the cards and the energy, some of you may also feel like another thought or memory comes in. And I would encourage you to follow that. Like the voice of your inner self, there it is bringing something up. The voice of your inner self may be bringing something up. So you could all of a sudden have like something come in as you're listening. And maybe I'm going down this other path over here, but something that you're hearing is very important for you. And that's what we want, you know, we want to be able to hear that inner voice and honor that ultimately. All right, we're going into Radiance and Resonance next. How does our authentic expression, okay, so this be how we express ourselves. So it's nice that we're talking about that. Oh my gosh, I'm having so many burps and like so much come up. But this is how I know it's processing. It's processing. How does our authentic expression attract aligned connections and opportunities for us? And we're going to look into this a little bit. Oh, it looks like it's doing it quite nicely. But I love this. Let's just do a little, since I have a lot coming up, I'm just going to kind of put it near my throat here. Deep breath. You know, sometimes I am processing for myself. Sometimes I am processing for the collective, whoever's tuning in to this Frequency Friday. And so, you know, whatever it is, sometimes it just takes a little extra clearing, but it's indicating that things are moving, which I find is a really good sign. And what's really interesting is as I exit from the energy of the readings, whether it's me or with one-on-one or collective, the symptoms disappear. It's really interesting. So sometimes I have to do a little work afterwards to see, okay, like that little part there felt personal to me, but it also could have been blended with other people's energies. So there's a lot of there's kind of this decompression that I do after the readings too, which is another bit about, you know, how I operate is what you don't see that happens after the fact. And today's going to be nice because we're going to go to the pool. Our pool is getting ready to close, and there'll be a nice day to enjoy some of the sun prana and get some of those vibes and just enjoy swimming a little bit in the flow of the water and everything and creating my own flow. I think that'll be really nice. So let's talk about radiance and resonance, you know, and one of the things that comes up very first for us here as we're looking at ourselves and thinking, how do I show up authentically and express myself in this way? It's through the work we've done, the shadow work. It's through the courage that we've had to take the shadow trail at times in our life. And this is the moon energy, right? And this is the different phases of the moon being shown at the top here. And, you know, there's a great camaraderie between the shadow journey and the light journey. And there can be a greater appreciation for our alignment and the times we feel like we're standing in the light because of our courage to journey through the shadow realms. And so I think this was this card coming up first and foremost. When we think about radiance, I don't necessarily think about the moon. I think about the sun. You know, why didn't the sun card come up? Well, because we're meant to embody and embrace a bit of appreciation for the gentler energies. And honestly, the moonlight is still the sunlight. It's just reflecting off of the moon, which gives us a different perspective here. And so in order for us to really embrace our radiance and what we're attracting in, at any given time, understanding the shadow and having actually been steeped in that journey is so important. And sometimes people resist that shadow path. And so giving yourself a little pat on the back for having the courage to tackle some of these harder things, the things that make us feel emotional, and not turning away from those, but leaning into them and learning how they inform us, is a beautiful way for us to embrace also the radiance, the opposite radiance. And the deeper we go to one, the more profoundly we can explore the other, right? So there's this expansion that I feel, very much a Jupiter energy I feel in this particular reading with Radiance and Resonance. Girl Gone says, just getting your point of view on what I do to release was good to hear. Someone tell me it's perfectly normal. You're not crazy for doing it. No, yes, I think it's amazing. I do it all the time. And sometimes, like, since I live with other people, sometimes they'll hear me and I'm like, sorry, not sorry. You know, like, this is me, this is my inner dialogue being made outward, you know. And but I just learn so much when I do that too, because I'm not only processing, but I'm hearing, like, I'm getting the feedback from my own voice and tone, and I think it's really helpful. So Radiance and Resonance. Now, this is a beautiful card to come up. We have 2 6s. The moon is, let's see, the moon is the 18 card. So we have 2 6s and a 9 there. For those of you who are working with the numerology, we got the Lovers card here. This is really pulling me into that aspect of attracting aligned connections. But what I'd like to say is that, like, you don't have to be in a physical partnership for this to occur, okay? This can be your own inner alignment. This is the balance of that yin and yang inside of you that I've spoken about, creating that safe and held place within inside yourself, right? It doesn't mean you don't need physical connection. It doesn't mean you don't need to have human interaction, but it is the work we find of that peace within, so that if we are in physical relationship with someone else that is holding us, we also know if their physical presence is removed, we can hold ourselves. And even earlier, I had someone join, he was asking about, like, his mother. This doesn't necessarily have to always be romantic love. It's about the love of a mother and a son. It can be familial love that we're looking at here. And what's really interesting is that for those of you where love and romance is a goal, this is very auspiciously coming in and saying, yes, absolutely, there's a beautiful freedom that you're creating here in what you're attracting in your future relationship. It actually feels, it feels like I'm getting the words, the untethered soul. That's what it feels like. I think that maybe some of you are unwinding, and I'm closing my eyes because I feel like I need to go deeper into this without the visual obstruction here. You're unwinding the entanglement of previous lifetimes to increase your radiance and the quality of your relationships this lifetime. So there's some past life healing going on with relationships here. Ooh, and I don't even want to open my eyes all the way here. Oh, some of you are really transmuting some past life romantic, familial patterns here to do with love, what you believe love to be, what you thought it was, what it wasn't for you when it wasn't showing up for you. Also, this feels like, for those of you who might be in a couple or relationship, this feels like the two of you learning more authentically from one another. So if you're in a partnership and there's blips and obstacles and things like that, it's about moving into a more authentic partnership. I'm gonna be honest, I don't see a lot of like vocal communication coming up as where maybe the work is being done right now for the radiance, the attraction, the resonance that you're working on. It honestly feels more like it's in the heart right here, in the heart core essence, in the heart soul essence. And so it definitely feels to me like this is not necessarily about the other person. Okay. Yes, the other person represents a character, but this is more about you feeling this maybe in the presence of another person, but maybe not. Maybe you're witnessing this for yourself individually here. And this is a heart energy. This is something that comes together. It's a freedom in the heart. It's a freedom to transform what some outward expression of love may have been, or you know, I'm also getting like some of those ways that some people like you know, like saying like, oh, I spank you or hit you because I love you and I was teaching you a lesson. You know, it's like kind of that, it came in with a barb, with an edge, and it was not resonant. And some of you, I think, are releasing that. But yeah, well, I got big like past life energies too, as well, being untangled, like disentangled. There's a lot of entanglement. This happens in the family unit too. There's a lot of entanglement that can come up that needs to be unwound. And I think some of you are deep in that heart-centered process of doing that. So it may not be the time where you're really focused on communication, or you might find communications to be a little tougher right now because there's a lot of energy coming up in the heart space here. And I do feel like this is going to move into greater empowerment. We got the Six of Wands. So if you haven't quite been feeling successful in this, or you're maybe like, is anything happening? Like, I feel like I'm doing the work. I've really taken a shadow journey. I've taken a look at things. I've really worked on disentangling, you know, I feel like I've been maybe even doing that for years. There's this phase, and this happens in layers, right? So we have to be aware of that. We're on a solar spiral of creation, so we're going to hit different layers of it. But this is a successful card that represents you will transform the energies. If there's anything in there that comes with that barb, or comes with that past life trauma, or comes with that stuckness, you're going to be successful in transforming this. I think it's about embracing your courage. Courage is also a very radiant vibrational energy, and we have it with the fire element here. We have it with the lion here, and this is embracing your own inner courage, your own lion or lioness within, and really being able to see things quite clearly through the mess and through the transformation. It's a victory card. It's a victory card, and it's a card of celebration. So I'm also getting too that, I mean, I would like to know, whether you're live or on the replay, how many of you mindfully take time to acknowledge the success or the growth that you've had for yourself. Now, I know sometimes if you're working with a mentor or a therapist, they will be like, wow, look how far you've come, and they will remind you. But how many of you, and I've even gone so far as to set this as a reminder on my calendar because I'm not very good at it, reminding myself, look how far you've come. I tend to sometimes look at things like, well, you've done all this, but look what you still have to do. You haven't done this yet, or you haven't processed this yet. Or sometimes things are just so emotionally entangled that they take up a lot of our attention, and they seem to come to center stage. And how often do you actually relax back into the energy of, oh my goodness, like, wow, like, look at this young man or this young woman that I've raised, or look how I've cared for this animal or my beloved pet, or look how I was humming joyfully as I clean the dishes. You know, whatever it is, even the simplest of things is just acknowledging yourself and celebrating yourself. And if it is hard, Tressa, I agree. I mean, eventually you won't have to remind yourself, but setting like a reminder in your calendar, maybe a reflective question for yourself to say, what have you celebrated about yourself today? Or how far you've come, or take a look at how far you've come. And you can work with the words that work for you and have a little fun. Put it as a little pop-up. You know, even on some of my morning alarms, I put like carpe diem or good morning beautiful, right? It's how you're speaking to yourself and how you're reminding yourself that you have accomplished some stuff, okay? And it's okay to like at least take a minute to celebrate that and to really be like, wow, yeah. And if I've accomplished this, then all of these other things that I am putting in the category of what I've not yet accomplished, that lack or that disconnected energy tends to start getting muted out as I embody this expansive energy that's coming in for me, and I'm able to celebrate it. And that's also transformative exercise. Karen says, I'm getting a lot of messages that I have a full circle feeling, like closure or renewal, but also like the lessons I learned are finally coming into play in a new way. Yes, yes. Yeah, and so when I was mentioning earlier the solar spiral of creation, I really feel that, you know, we're walking a path, and as we evolve, we're getting more and more wisdom, more and more awarenesses. So at times, though, like if you imagine like a spiral winding, there's going to be points in the circuit. Like also, this is if you've never been to a labyrinth, has anybody ever walked a labyrinth? And it's a very mindful walking meditation, and you stop and it has circuits. That's kind of what I'm getting with what you said, Karen, where it's like you're coming full circle, but you're actually now at a different vantage point, but you're on the spiral, you're coming to the circuit, and you've already accomplished a lower level, if you want to say that, or a previous level of that circuit, and you're coming back around and you're getting ready to go into the new part of the spiral or the new circuit. And so that's beautiful because you're really in tuned with your pace and where you're at with that. Girl Gone says, look how strong and smart and amazing the little humans I made are. Yes, absolutely. And I've got my, oh my God, little, this is my daughter when she was younger. Oh my gosh, love it. I love looking at these pictures. There's her grandpa with her, sugar and spice and everything nice. What a sweetheart, you know, like, yeah, I mean, wow, you know, just to be a parent and to accept the courage and the sacrifice and the beautiful melody that it is to raise a child. I mean, what bravery, what courage in this world of all places, right? Like, look how far I got being adopted and going through trauma, but still became the person I am today. Yes, because somehow inside yourself, you faced it. You faced the darkness. Some of you were maybe even forced to face the darkness. It was just dark all around you at times. But you've transmuted that, you've transformed that. There was a part of your soul that always knew who you were, and you were able to courageously connect to that through the Shadowlands, and that is beautiful. We need to give ourselves more praise and cheer ourselves on. Yeah, I'd say like toot your own horn, and maybe that becomes some of your dialogue to yourself, where you're like, you know, maybe as you're walking around the house and you're venting, maybe take a minute or two to praise yourself and be like, wow, look at those kids I raised. How beautiful are they? Or this is amazing that I got to have this experience, or I'm connecting with my pet in this way, or I'm, you know, I get to cuddle someone or cuddle my pet, or whatever gives you the happy, feel good vibes, you know, and just that. Of course, you're responsible for getting yourself to the place that's making you feel good. And so why not give yourself credit for that? You know, we tend to to just be constantly like, we accomplish one thing and then we're on to the next, like now I gotta face that, now I gotta face that, now this is the next step. But what about just saying, oh wow, let me take a moment here. And as I'm doing this, the wind, see the wind picking up here? There's a breeze and the wind, it's like a circular pattern. I can feel it. Yep, my umbrella's wiggling and wobbling. Yes, we love it, universe. Bring the wind. Yes, and just let's carry some of these celebrations on the wind. Let this wind, let you be receptive to this wind. Let yourself be receptive to this beautiful celebration of these full circle moments where you realize how far you've come and that you can move into the next phase. Let's get a Rose Oracle card. That felt really good to me. I feel like this is a good place to land today at the end of Frequency Friday, or the closure of this circuit and on to the next. But what a beautiful, what a beautiful way for us all to show up today. I love this, and I really feel positively for those of you who are looking for enhanced relationships and love. This last Radiance and Resonance, it definitely feels like this, it feels auspicious, and it's because of the work you've done. So celebrate yourself. Celebrate even the courage to get out on the dating scene again, if that's something you're getting into, or the courage to share something with your partner that you've been needing to get off your chest, right? And we got the Rose of Venus. It says alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. And it's really kind of reminded me of the Lover's card. So once you establish that right relationship within yourself, you begin to attract in those right and aligned relationships with others, right? And it's something we're constantly working on. Even if like this, see, here's that spiral again that I was talking about. Even if this feels distant to you right now, I'm feeling the need to share with some of you that your light is shining, your rose is opening here. Even if this feels distant, you are in a very divine place with your relationships. And let's not limit ourselves to how love can come in. It's going to be attracted to you through your radiance, but it could come through a check-in from a long-lost friend. It could come in the form of romance. It could come in the form of a compliment from someone. So let's not limit to how we receive this energy, right? And how good it can feel to just be open to that. When someone pays you a genuine compliment, how good are you at receiving that? Are you, someone says, ooh, your hair looks nice today. Oh yeah, I just, this hair, oh, I wish it was different. Like, are you good at receiving the compliment? Like just saying, oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm feeling good about that too. Or are you judging the compliment, right? So that can be another thing that these energies remind us of. Now I have 3 affirmations to close us off today. Affirmations, they're not the end all be all, but they can certainly help us, and they carry energy on the words when we speak them. Just like our little crystal friends here, our crystal allies, our affirmation allies can assist us too. And the first affirmation today is I honor my soul. Very simple. So maybe just, placing your hands over your heart and just being really gentle with yourself. Maybe give your collarbones a little massage here and just say, I honor my soul. I honor my soul. I honor my soul. And breathe in that energy. And if you want to give yourself a little hug, do it. This is a good vibe. Feels good. And then our next affirmation is, I shine without apology. So hands over the heart, and just rub those collarbones. We're just moving the energy into the heart space. We're helping our heart receive the energies. You can even do a little circular motion if that feels good to you. I shine without apology. I shine without apology. I shine without apology. Yeah. And you see how I changed my voice there and I got more and more powerful. you know, and I'm outside, the neighbors are over there. Who cares? I shine without apology. That's right. Makes me smile. Makes me feel uplifted, right? So whether you're in your car, home alone, or there's a whole bunch of people with you, and with kids, you can always involve them. Like, let's see who can say, I shine without apology with the most, enthusiasm. Challenge your kids to it. And then lastly, our last affirmation, hands on the heart. I'm gonna do a little thymus tapping too. This is good for the immune system, but I also feel like thymus tapping here, just right on the breastbone here, up and down, up to the collarbones and down a little bit in between the heart. I feel like it activates the heart. And so our final affirmation is, I attract what is real and meaningful. And yeah, as you tap, you're just tapping it into your heart. It's like you get to allow your heart to open to this. I attract what is real and meaningful. Yes. I attract what is real and meaningful. Yeah, and those are the things that are going to be in alignment with you. Those are the things that are going to be balanced with you and honor your radiance and resonance. Thank you all so much for being here for Frequency Friday. I look forward to seeing you next week. Maybe if Mother Nature is agreeable, we can be outside again. I really like being out here. I do have to listen for mowers because the mowers can get a little loud sometimes, but we've had a lovely day today. It has been perfect. We had little visitors. We had the crows. We had the cicada come and visit. There's a little spider. We had a lot of little nature nuggets in there, which is always fascinating and intriguing. And I just send a beautiful loving, a beautiful level of loving energy out to all of you. I thank you for your presence here. It truly means so much to me. And I look forward to seeing you next time. I hope everyone has an amazing and magical weekend. Take care.